What's happening? It's Darian, the mouth of the South Gray, and boy was I wrong. The Saints versus Bucs was not a one-score, very close game at all. It was actually a pretty dominant game by the Saints, and we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of this Week 1 game of the week on Point Blank Period.
You can sleep when you die. Point blank, period.
And you know this, man.
All right, so let's start off with the good, because I'd rather start with it than end with it. On the defensive side of the ball, that has to be the good for me. And I know what you may be thinking. It's 34-23. How is that the best part of the game for you, the defense? Well, it's because if you look at it, the Saints did not play as if they scored 27 offensive points. It just happened. They kind of lucked into those 27 offensive points. You look at the Bucs, they had some penalties that helped them score some points. And even their 23 is misleading as they scored a late 6 really late in the ball game, really in catch-up time. Now let's get into the Saints defense and how they played, not just what the score was. The Saints defense had 2 interceptions to Tom Brady while getting a lot of pressure on him. Marcus Williams got the first interception early in the game on an overthrow towards Mike Evans that we'll talk about a little bit later. And then Janoris Jenkins, to start off the second half, got in on the fun and took it to the Parkman's parlay, pick 6 all the way. And after that, the Saints defense didn't really look back. Yeah, the Bucs scored on the next drive, but they didn't really look back afterwards. It was all steam ahead. So let's look at the Bucs defense. I highlighted a matchup between Alvin Kamara and the linebacking core of 545, and advantage 545. We know about Levante David. I know he's been one of the most criminally underrated linebackers of his time, partially because his team wasn't good and also because he shared a division with Luke Kuechly. But we know about him. We know the guy's a stud. But you look at Devin White. I've always said Devin White is going to be a star, and I was wrong. I was dead wrong. Devin White is a star, point blank period. There's no more he's going to be. I watched the man fly around all game. Him and David. Going against Kamara, any outside play that the Saints designed for Kamara, erased. It wasn't just them two either. The whole defense was flying, but overall, 545 had the advantage in that matchup. And I feel bad for any team going forward that's trying to move east and west versus this defense or trying to run up the middle because that front seven is strong in the interior as well. They have a good defense. I said I need to see some things, and I did, especially in that back end. The Saints wide receiver couldn't do diddly poo offensively, to quote the great Jim Moore. They could not do diddly poo. They held Michael Thomas to probably his second worst game of his career, if not the first. And then Emmanuel Sanders, he didn't get much shine until late in the game either. That back end, they changed up all their numbers, so it's kind of hard to know who was who. But I can tell you right now, that back end of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was outstanding and locked up Michael Thomas and the rest of that receiving corps for the Saints. Now let's move into the bad. The bad was the veteran quarterback play. I thought this was going to be a quarterback matchup. It's something that we all look forward to. We still have week 9. But this is something that we all look forward to. And Tom Brady played like somebody who had not been playing with these guys. On the first interception to Mike Evans actually read the play correctly, according to Bruce Arians, and Tom Brady didn't. He expected him to be somewhere else. That's just a lack of chemistry to me. That's what really showed up, and it's what I expected to see. And that will change in time. Then on the second interception, that was just a great play by Janoris Jenkins. Now let's get into Drew Brees. Drew Brees did not play good. Matter of fact, Drew Brees played awful that game. He really did. He missed 4 throws that really had me scratching my head. There was a corner route to Michael Thomas. There was a wheel route to Alvin Kamara. There was a bad throw on what could have been a first down to Traquan Smith, and a poor throw on what might have been a touchdown to Emmanuel Sanders. Sanders ended up getting a touchdown on the drive anyway, but it could have been a touchdown earlier, but Brees threw a bad ball. And as Brees is a quarterback who is applauded and beloved for his accuracy on the field, seeing that was kind of concerning. I can't even sugarcoat it. That was concerning. But the only thing that kept it from being in the ugly category was the fact that Sean Payton in the press conference said this was one of his worst games play calling, and we could see it, so he took some of the blame. But then also in a critical time when the Saints needed to go up 2 possessions, Brees did make the best throw he could, and he was right on the money to Jared Cook for a 46-yard pass. Then for the ugly, it had to be Mike Evans versus Marshawn, and not their play on the field because Marshawn erased them. We already know that. But for what they did after the play, Early in the second quarter, they had a heated exchange where they were tangled up. Lattimore ended up pushing him in the back, and then Mike Evans basically lunged at Lattimore's helmet and knocked it off. I don't know how only Lattimore got the flag on that play, but I don't want to see that from either side. I love to watch the rivalry. I love to hear the things they say about each other in press conferences and interviews and top 100 slights. I like hearing that. But what I don't want is anything that can take either two of these guys off the field. Point blank, period. And that is my good, bad, and the ugly from the week 1 matchup between the Saints and the Bucs. And though the Bucs did not look all the way good, I am extremely excited to see what they will be when these two teams match up in week 9 on prime time. Point blank, period.